Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Guten Tag, sir. Magandang hapon. Do you know what I feel right now? I think I'm a bit nervous because this is my first time to say in front of plenty of people, fellow officer. I am here to task to present a small presentation of what I have learned on my training last week. It's about this pure ballast. This came from Alfa Laval system. Alfa Laval is approved by IMO and US Coast Guard. This Alfa Laval system is a simple system that it's easily to operate. It used biological disinfection used to treat the living organisms that can affect the environment. Before I go on, I will show some small video clips that we can say the importance why we need the system. This is only a small clip.
Today, the world's shores are under attack. Armies of aliens are secretly invading our coasts. In the Caspian Sea, swarms of ghostly hunters have contributed to the collapse of entire commercial fisheries. In Europe, armoured invaders are rampaging up rivers and threatening local fish stocks. The largest wetland in the world, the Pantanal, is being infiltrated by a silent killer that could destroy this fragile ecosystem. And throughout the world's oceans, huge blooms of toxic algae are contaminating shellfish, causing thousands of deaths.
One of the big problems with biological invasions, of course, is that once the species has invaded, there's virtually nothing you can do about it.
But it's hard to imagine how such tiny creatures like these lobster larvae can survive inside a ship.
Well, the vast majority of marine life which is taken into ships' ballast tanks actually do not survive because the conditions inside the ballast tanks are very harsh, usually low oxygen, quite dark, and so therefore during the voyage most of them will die off. But it's the extremely hardy species and the hardy individuals that may survive, and it's the fact that they survive which makes them potentially invasive when they get to the other end.
The deadly alien invaders have destroyed fishing industries, threatened power supplies, and put people at death's door. Now, as world trade grows and shipping booms, more and more ballast water is being transported.
The impacts of invasive aquatic species are one of the 4 greatest threats to the world's coast and oceans. The other great impacts are global climate change, overfishing, and marine pollution. And the ballast water and invasive species issue has been identified as perhaps the greatest environmental challenge facing the global shipping industry today.
Progress is being made, but its momentum must be maintained so that shipping can work in harmony with the environment.
That's the reason why. So what's the importance is to save our economy, because we need the system to save economy, the human health, and our environment. That's the reason why we need the system. And now, this one is the reason. Also, this organism like this will destroy our environment if they will migrate from one system or seawater origin to the other. It will create a massive pollution that will destroy our environment. That's why this pure ballast is introduced to prevent this pollution. Now I will present, is anybody here already see this one on board?
No.
New.
Ah, third. He's not present. This one is a pure ballast system that's already installed in some RCPO vessel. From Seaman Orfeo is already installed last dry dock 2018. We encountered this one. So I will introduce the components. The F letter is the filter. This filter has the used to block the large organism before it will goes to the reactor. The organism first will hold on the filter. This filter have the backflashing components that it no need to clean the filter in any time because it has a maintenance that you can clean only for once a year. It has a backflashing that will scrape the big particle, a big organism, and it will goes to bilge. Next is the flow meter. It's only the indication of flow. It operates in the control valve. Now the big item there is letter D, the reactor. Reactor is the is used to disinfect biological disinfection of the organism. It will kill the organism before it will go to our ballast water tank. Next one is the SIP unit. What is SIP unit? SIP is CIP, is clean in place unit. It used to clean the reactor. The reactor that kills the organism. SIP unit is also monitored and have a maintenance. I mean, to check every week. It's about to check the pH value of that water solution. Is a biological solution that it will help to clean the reactor tube sleeve. This reactor has its tube sleeves inside. It is tube sleeves that helps to protect the UV lamps from the pressure of the water. Next one is the slump drive cabinet. The slump drive cabinet have this used to supply power to the reactor. Inside the slump drive cabinet have the cooled by LT cooling water system on board. This used to supply power to the reactor. Next one is this is the control cabinet. This used to control the operation on how we can start and the ballasting and deballasting. This is also a graphical touchscreen that we can operate manually. Here are the pictures that sample from Alfa Laval when we are on training. On the RCPO, on Civil Engine Orfeo, that we have the 1,000 capacity. It has the 16 lamps inside and have the kilowatt lamp about 6 kilowatt, maximum power of 100. Normally the reactor gives power about 42% of its maximum power, and the reactor will provide maximum of 100%, but on CPO or on this sample, that the reactor will use to bring the power about 42% to kill the organism. Here's the sample pictures of UV lamps. UV lamps have a maintenance running hours to replace about 3,000 running hours. It has the inside that lamp have a mercury that regulates the heat to transfer this UV reaction to kill the organism. Any question?
Good.
Somebody?
Please. Understood.
Here is the sample pictures of DNA when processing the organism to the reactor. It is the DNA samples from UV before going to treatment. The DNA is still intact. When it passes to the reactor, the DNA will break down. Example, IMO. IMO regulation will allow us to not to kill the organism, but in U.S. Coast Guard regulation, they are like to maybe they like to kill the organism before it goes to the tank because they don't like us to treat their maybe their seawater to be polluted. That is the Here is the control panels. The panels, sample panels on how to operate. The main panel is installed in ship's office normally, and the remote panel is in the local station in engine room. You can use how to operate, and before operation, you must check if you are in the login mode because on the screen it says that you must press the login and put some password inside. This is the sample pictures. Before entering on the IMO regulated waters or US Coast Guard regulated waters, before doing the ballast, you must press this button, IMO. If you forgot, I think you have a problem with that. Because they are checking this one in their log, some regulations that you must print out the log sheet and they will present it to you if they ask about this log operation. Here are some sample pictures from Seaman. We installed Alfa Laval installed in the ship. The one is the SIP filter, big one, and here is a sample of the reactor. Still sleepy?
Oh no.
You have a question? Yes. Sir?
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Where was this, excuse me, where was this training?
He in the UMTC in Marlosa.
When?
Last week.
I would highly appreciate why you did not include the electricians to go with you.
Yes.
Talking about reactors.
Of course we did. We sent 3 guys, and there was also ETO sent there. But this was the pilot course there, so we only got 3 seats, and so you can see we are very, very quick. We sent the first 3 CTO guys to a pilot course, and it's already introduced here. But it's of course a good hint. Of course, we will include the ETOs, and the ETO who was there is also supposed to join one of these vessels which are getting this or already having the system. Caroline?
Sir?
Yeah. Hello.
Ang pula, Jeep. Yung pula sa boot.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a question about the CIP unit, about this ballast system. I've been also guiding this San Alicio in class with this Korean ballast water treatment. I think Captain Ali knows about this. And I'm operating the system, but I was a little bit unhappy with this because it is like the install this on board is just like test. But when I heard your demonstration about the Alfa Laval, the operations goes the same about the UV light. UV light is, I know it's a very expensive lamp. And okay, the operation is much the same, but I have seen this in your presentations, short presentation as of now, that the operation you said is very, very, it's simple. And Mr. Aldi just mentioned this is a little bit complicated. I was really where I have to, let's say, be on that side. My first question is, This CIP unit. CIP unit, it is, you said that is the point in which the pH level of the water is being measured?
Yes, sir. I must be maintained on not lower than 7, and not lower than 3. It must be checked every
3
time.
pH.
Yeah.
So what is the maximum there for this?
What I have seen on the training, it did not say anything about this, but I only searched on the internet that it must be on 3, not lower than 3 pH value.
Yeah, that is also what when we have this discussion, Mr. Ravi, about Alfa Laval, I also do the search in the Googles about this Alfa Laval, and looks like your presentation is much more because you are there on the meeting, you know, and it is very clear for me. So the second question I have is also with the management about how we're going to operate this one.
Well, this equipment is something in between deck and engine equipment. You will have the operator who's the chief mate who's doing the ballast operations. That is, I think, very clear because he's responsible for the stability of the vessel. If the chief mate would do a wrong ballast operations, this could consequently lead to some bigger problems. So for that reason, the chief mate is the operator. On the other hand, the maintenance of the systems, that means, for example, exchanging of the bulbs, that will be done by the engine crew. That would be, for example, if it's an electric part, the electrician. If it's part of the pumps or the cleaning process, that would be one of the engineers. And that is something which we as well have to lay down in our QM manual, who will be in the end responsible for the areas of this equipment.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And I have the second. Can I have the second question? I can.
Sir,
I can give other people.
It's okay.
So the second part of my question is that the waste, let's say the waste part of the balance operation, which is going down to the CIP unit, it should be stored where? We have the bills for that?
Yeah, I think in bills for that, I think.
And
but,
then
because in cleaning, you must drain the water on the reactor, remove water, remove the seawater, put fresh water, and put fresh water, and it will drain again. It uses the SIP unit.
Yeah,
and it makes the circulation.
So that is
the waste will go to the bills.
It is purely clean or what I mean is we have to put it on the bills and then do we have to discharge back to the at-sea or?
The thing is that the lamps, when they operate, they are quite warm. So the salt of the seawater then gets onto the glasses of the bulbs, and this needs to be removed. For this, you have this CIP cleaning unit. This CIP cleaning unit has a normal lemon acid, so it's a normal acid from a lemon, which then cleans the glasses with the fresh water in a kind of circulation. So that is a organic product, so that there's nothing harmful for the environment. It's just to get the lamp bulbs clean, which have this residues due to the hot operation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just something as well to mention. Together with the company Seaman, we purchased this Alfa Laval ballast water treatment system for all vessels. That means we will install in the end on all 71 vessels the same system, which is also easier than for the operation. On the one hand, everyone knows the same system. On the second hand is that we have definitely more knowledge in the whole treatment of the system. And we decided to use an UV system because we didn't like to use chemicals, which would have been another option, that you use chemicals for cleaning the ballast water. For example, like chlor, sometimes you have to do it, for example, in Argentina. But we believe that this system is much more environmental friendly as other makers, and it has luckily the approvals for the IMO and as well as the Coast Guards.
Here, sample pictures where we are on the training is a small version of the field temp. This is the one that I talk about, the RAM that will clean the large particle inside, and it will drain, go to the wheels. Next, these sample pictures also on the training. Electrician Kadurniga, he makes the fault finding because on the previous train that they have, the one lamps, UV lamps is destroyed, and he makes the, he look for the fault. Next features is about only the system that we can look, we drain the system. Thank you. Before I go, hoping that all of us will familiarize the system, and because this coming year 2023, according to Alfa Laval, this regulation has been enforced by IMO and US Coast Guard for the running vessels. That's why CPO is now on the move to comply all of these requirements. Thank you, sir. I have saying before I leave, and I believe that if you speak up, you will be heard. I believe if you stand out, you will be rewarded. And I believe if you have a good attitude towards your career, you will be promoted. And just be yourself and show up. And thank you.